potential he needs to get to if he's going to maintain his political position. Biden will move in the direction that will gain him enough votes. And so vote counting is going to be the key here. He needs to close a deal. He's got a reservoir of goodwill still with the American public, but his popularity is declining. He has to prove that he's a winner, that he can close the deal. And if you compare Trump to Biden, Trump knew what Machiavelli was talking about when Machiavelli said that the prince or the leader, it's better to be more feared than loved. People fear Donald Trump. They do not fear Biden. So he has to show the Democrats that he can play hardball instead of just playing the nice old uncle or the great warm-spirited grandfather. Trump was the angry uncle. Biden is the happy grandfather. Biden needs to show that he can get tough as well.
Well, the CDC has released new COVID guidelines for the upcoming holidays here in the United States. It says the most important thing you can do to stay safe is get vaccinated. The agency is also encouraging people to mask up in areas with high transmission rates and consider virtual celebrations rather than in-person gatherings. Meanwhile,
this may be turning the corner when it comes to its latest COVID surge, but in order to keep the hospitalization and infection numbers down, more people need to get vaccinated. That's a word from the nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who's also chief medical advisor to President Biden over the weekend as the United States surpassed 700,000 deaths. Dr. Anthony Fauci said that still more needs to be done in terms of vaccination efforts. The latest CDC numbers showing that about 56% of Americans are fully protected right now against the virus through a vaccine. He also expressed some concern that with the promise of a new COVID treatment, a new oral antiviral, and many of those unvaccinated Americans may simply choose to bypass getting vaccinated. Fauci saying that is not a good idea.
It is never okay to get infected. You heard the numbers. It decreased the risk of this pill did of hospitalizations and death by 50%. You know the way to decrease the risk by 100%? Don't get infected in the first place.
Merck and Ridgeback Therapeutics, the maker of that antiviral, says that their product can potentially cut the risk of COVID death and hospitalizations by nearly half. Those companies saying that they plan to submit their product for emergency use authorization to the FDA as soon as possible. Polo Sandoval, CNN, New York.
Dr. Jorge Rodriguez is a board-certified internal medicine specialist and viral researcher. He joins me now. Thank you, Doctor, for talking with us and for all that you do.
Thank you. My pleasure always.
So we are starting.
And every time we do and we put our guard down, we just sort of let the tiger in the door and we get another surge. With another variant. So yes, things are better, but they're far from over.
Exactly. So we can be cautiously optimistic, perhaps. And now, of course, there's word that Merck has put out, or certainly prepared, this antiviral pill that will stop COVID in its and could be available by Christmas. We don't know the timing exactly, maybe even before that. And there are two other COVID pills on the horizon. Dr. Anthony Fauci calls this a game changer. Do you agree? And do you worry, though, that those who refuse to get vaccinated now will just fall back on this pill once it's available?
I'm afraid that, yes, that will happen. That people think that this is a cure. It is not a cure. Dr. Fauci and I both come from the HIV arena a couple of decades ago, and we've done research in that. And this is similar to that. These are medications that can control the worsening of the virus once you have it. It is not a cure. So the Merck study showed that if you start getting, the beginnings of COVID and it's proven to be COVID, if you treat it within 5 days, you could decrease the risk of going to the hospital or dying by 50%. That's very significant, but nothing takes the place of preventing getting infected, which is what a vaccine does. So is it a game changer? It absolutely might be. Is it the cure? It absolutely is not.
Right, number one, get vaccinated, and then, of course, we should have this pill available as a backup there after the fact. So, Dr. California Governor Newsom says his state will become the first state to add the COVID-19 vaccination to immunizations required for in-person school attendance. Do you think this could signal what will happen in other states, maybe not now, but in the weeks and months ahead?
I truly hope so. And people really need to just look at this for what it is, which is a life-threatening pandemic. We require vaccinations against measles, against mumps. This is deadlier than that. So I don't think this impedes anybody's freedom. We need to be objective. What it does, it allows you the freedom to live longer, to live a natural life, especially if you're a child, to be able to congregate with other children, to have fun, to go to the playground. So this doesn't impede freedom. In my view, this gives freedom, and I hope that it is implemented in other states.
And Doctor, with mandates like this, we know, of course, that some people who oppose getting vaccinated will seek exemptions. How big a threat do you think religious and health exemptions pose when it comes to trying to end this pandemic, or are we talking about a very small number here, do you think?
I think we're talking about a small number. At the end of the day, people who don't want to get vaccinated will not get vaccinated. People will quit their jobs not to get vaccinated. But if you look, for example, at what's happening in some of the major airlines, I was just reading and got told some statistics today. One of the major airlines, 0.4%, only 0.4% of the people employed, of the 67,000 people employed by a major airline, refuse to get vaccinated. I think when the rubber hits the road, most people want to stay healthy, most people want to keep their jobs, and most people want to get the economy moving. And that's what getting vaccinated will allow us to do.
Yeah, we have learned, of course, that mandates do work. We're seeing it. We're seeing it in these various companies. Dr. Jorge Rodriguez, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
A Facebook whistleblower is speaking out publicly, accusing the company of placing profit over public good. Frances Haugen, a former Facebook product manager, says the social media giant knows its platforms are used to spread hate, violence, and misinformation. During an interview with 60 Minutes, Haugen said Facebook has tried to hide damning evidence in order to protect its profits. CNN's Brian Stelter has more on what she's saying and Facebook's response.
Okay, yes, this is a big moment for Facebook and for the social networking world more broadly, as a whistleblower comes forward to call attention to what the